Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'm going to talk about moving on. Like, what does it mean exactly? Yeah, we've been talking about this word ever since we started dating, or you might have left that relationship, you still want to go back, and some part of you wants to, let's say, move on, and another part of you wants to still give it a try. And your friends, of course, are giving you this normal advice of just move on. But the binds of that toxic relationship or that past relationship are still holding you and they're still strong. And you even feel ashamed and worthless because you can't follow their advice and do such a simple thing like just moving on and forgetting about them. So you feel stuck in the past and you can't really figure out this moving on which people talk about. So what does it really mean to move on from a relationship? Moving on has different kind of relationships, but the most common one is forgetting about them and finding someone else, like a new relationship or a new partner or even a new situationship. Like, in fact, when people see you being single after leaving that abusive relationship or after leaving that relationship, and you're not having any romantic engagements or involvements with other people, they associate it with you not having moved on from the past relationship. And when they see you seeing other people or sleeping around, they know that you've moved on, and you may even think that you've moved on. That's what normally happens. Like, moving on is associated with finding someone new. So, jumping into a new relationship without processing those past hurts is not moving on at all, as it's just you moving on or moving with all your past baggage to a new relationship or to a new situationship. So this moving on and finding someone new is actually a false perspective of moving on, because you are moving with all your emotional baggage to that new relationship. So you're not really moving on, but you are moving with them. You are moving with your past stuck emotions. And a toxic relationship will leave you with emotional scars and deep insecurities which will weigh you down. So you may see that your abusive ex-partner has moved on so fast. Like, hey, why does a narcissist move on so fast? Because they are already in another relationship, which might even trigger you to also find someone new so that you can even the scores, or so that you don't look like the one who was not good enough. And your friends may also try to hook you up with someone new so that you can move on. And that's actually a false perspective of moving on, because you're just moving with everything from the past with you. This moving on and associating moving on with finding someone new is actually a dangerous place to be in, because you may find yourself in another unhealthy relationship which will traumatize you, and then a few months down the line or a few years down the line, you will still find yourself in a place where you still want to move on. So when we view moving on as jumping into another relationship or sleeping with someone else, we just pile more and more baggage from the past without ever releasing them. It's more like collecting trash everywhere we go without ever really throwing them away to a dump site. So it sounds really tedious, right? Like, all those things you've been collecting from the past relationships, you are still carrying them with you to new relationships, and then picking new things and then carrying them with you, and then you are thinking that you've moved on. The other dangerous interpretation of moving on is you shutting everyone out of your life and denouncing any romantic involvements. Yeah, it may look like a great defense mechanism on paper, but it is still not the real definition of moving on. This is because those actions you are engaging in are just about survival, and you are acting out of fear. And when you act out of fear, it simply means that the past traumatized you or shook you so much to the point where you shy away from engaging in some of your deep desires. This is this path of numbing your emotions, burying yourself with work or spiritual escapism in quotes, or indulging in substances, or just anything that distracts you from the painful emotions or relationships in general. It may look like moving on from the past, but the past still has a grip on your present life, because you cannot embrace the whole spectrum of existence. And life is all about relationships. You have to relate with another human being. So when you shut yourself down and say like, me and relationships, I've moved on, me and relationships are not going to cross paths anymore, you are just reacting because of the past. So you are missing out on life by consciously or unconsciously employing avoidance strategies. And that avoidance strategy is shying away from relationships. So you're not actually moving on. The past is still having a grip in your life. Hope that makes sense. Moving on is not actually about like finding someone new or finding a new relationship or just shutting down because of what you went through in the past. Yes, we may have various interpretations of the word moving on, but the best measure of moving on is you being deeply honest with yourself. And you don't even have to tell anyone and really assess if the past still has a strong effect on your present decisions. The past still has a strong effect on your present life. So fully moving on is all about you moving forward with life without the past or past experiences limiting your scope or limiting your choices. It's the point where you can choose to be in a relationship or you can choose not to be in a relationship. But this comes out of your own self-reliance or independence and not as a reaction to what happened to you in the past. So this moving on is the point where you are free to act as you wish without past relationships or past betrayals affecting your current life circumstances. It doesn't mean that you forget about them or you don't think about them or you shut yourself or you overwork yourself or you pause your life or even find a new relationship. It means that the past is not stopping you from living the life you deeply desire. So the past is not stopping you. You've moved on from the past. It means that you've made peace and reconciled with past hurts and you are now traveling light. It's like you were carrying this bag with filled with baggage or useless things, but now when you move on, you really drop that bag and you now travel light. So you are a happy single without a relationship, or you are a happy single in quotes in a relationship. But the key factor is you, your own happiness. Hope that makes sense. In conclusion, you move on when you take your life back. You move on when you grow from all those past betrayals and past hurts. It's you investing in yourself and seeing you as someone who deserves a better life and is free to do so. The word is free to do so, not being anchored. Free. So moving on is living and not surviving. And that's where you should strive to be. Fully moving on, not just partially moving on. So be gentle on yourself, process those past hurts to fully move on and embrace life or live. That's it for me today, guys. Look at moving on from your own perspective, from your own present life. Is the past still limiting your life? If it's limiting your life, you've not fully moved on. If it's not limiting your life, you fully moved on. Hope you found that informative, guys. Feel free to subscribe, share, and comment. Until next time, see ya.